YouTube has decided to not share my videos with everyone who subscribes. Please follow me on social media to stay up to date. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and apparently there's been a bit of a wrench tossed into the whole Disney buying Fox situation. Now, originally, when I heard Comcast was stepping up to want to kind of maybe cut in on that $54 billion deal that Disney had put forward to Fox, I'd heard it was only for Sky News out of the UK. I mean, we know that the deal with Disney and Fox basically takes almost everything with the exception of Fox News, Fox Sports, and I want to say a couple other little things. But ultimately what Disney wants is 20th Century Fox and the X-Men franchises, as well as Fox Television, The Simpsons, so on and so forth. I mean, $54 billion is the deal that's on the table right now, and they paid $4 billion for both Marvel and Lucasfilm. So this is nothing that's small. This is nothing that's not crazy. But here's what it says about the situation involving Comcast and the bid for 21st Century Fox. Now, it says there seems to be no shortage of twists and turns in the ongoing battle for the 21st Century Fox assets. After Disney seemingly had firm control of the situation after announcing the deal last December, the road to acquisition has not been smooth, as the House of Mouse probably would have preferred, as Comcast has now thrown its hat in the ring. It all really depends on what they're offering here, right? It really does depend on what they're offering. Now, though Comcast was initially rejected in its bid for 21st Century Fox's assets, the company remains persistent and steadfast with its quest to obtain Fox, with Brian Roberts already making the bid for Sky News. Comcast is now reportedly in talks with banks to make an all-cash offer that would throw a wrench in Disney's acquisition plans. So hardcore Marvel Studio fans hoping to see the likes of the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters integrated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe may have to put their hopes on hold for quite some time, which is very true. However, something to consider with this one, just as a quick side thing. So Comcast owns NBC Universal, or just owns Universal Studios. Universal Studios currently has the rights for the Hulk. If they can get in the X-Men as well and bring in Fantastic Four and Deadpool and all that stuff, they then have a better idea to negotiate with Disney to then bring those characters over. So that may not all be lost. It will take a little bit extra time than what we're hearing of 2022, but at the same time, the deal could still be made, and this would actually be really lucrative on Universal side of things in order to get that nice, sweet royalty money as it's coming in. Remember, Spider-Man Homecoming did pretty well for Sony, and Marvel Studios and Disney took none of the profit on that one, right? They produced the movie, but they took none of the profit. That all went to Sony, and I'm pretty sure Universal's looking at that like, that's a pretty good damn deal. Or Comcast is like, that's a pretty good damn deal. Let's just do that. And that way they can spend the money, buy the stuff in an all-cash bid. That's something to consider there too. Now, according to CNBC here, Comcast's $60 billion bid, topping Disney's bid of $52 billion, would go forward if the United States government approves AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner. However, if the government does not approve, then Comcast has no intention of placing a bid. So this all boils down to ABC's acquisition of Time Warner, right? These telecom companies purchasing these entertainment companies is not something I'm a huge fan of. And at this point, I'm going to ask the FTC, please don't let the AT&T acquisition of Time Warner happen. Just don't. Because that's all it is. They just want to get control. It's just parity with AT&T. This has nothing to do, ultimately with the Disney thing. They just want to buy out Fox in order to be equal with Paramount, or sorry, with AT&T and Time Warner. It's a really weird thing, but I still think that my earlier theory about licensing the characters to Marvel is probably one that's going to happen as well. Now, while Comcast shares have fallen since Disney announced its bid for 21st Century Fox, the cable company believes it is the better chance with the all-cash bid. Even if Rupert Murdoch prefers Disney shares, Comcast's CFO, Michael Cavanaugh, commented on the company's earnings, saying here, regarding potential acquisitions, it's our job to continuously evaluate whether there are opportunities for us to create value. But should we pursue anything while our stock is at these levels, while circumstances can always change, I think it is unlikely that we would use Comcast shares as a medium of exchange for a transaction. That's why they want the all-cash bid, so they can definitely just bypass that particular thing. And I think it might also be bypassing the shareholders too. While Disney and Comcast, whether Disney or Comcast emerges victorious in the ongoing battle for 21st Century Fox, it has become clear that this is far from a done deal for the House of Mouse, which is very true. It is far from a done deal. It's one ultimately that I think is going to have a lot of people out there really unhappy about. So I guess really, if I'm being just jokingly, speculative here, I would say that maybe it's time for Marvel Studios fans who want to see the characters return home to reach out to the FTC to tell them you don't want the Time Warner being taken over by AT&T. You don't want that to happen. You just don't want it. Just you don't want it. You don't. This is what you want. That's how you got to kill the deal. That's it. You kill if the FTC doesn't approve that shit, then it's a done deal and it's Disney's. But if they're putting up $60 billion in an all cash bid, Murdoch might look at this from the perspective of the dude's in his 80s. Right? Or above it. He's old. I mean, he's not long for this earth. He's got less time than he has more of it, which, is sad reality for every person at some point in time. But he may look at it as like, well, I'd rather have the cash up front because I can't take any of it with me. But at the same time, he wants to ensure that his business continues on, which is one of the reasons why he's looking to get rid of the movie stuff and focus directly on the news. Murdoch and his ilk would rather focus more on trying to, I think can control the narrative of politics here, not only in the United States, but abroad, which is why that $32 billion bid for Sky News, that's also part of this particular deal, is so interesting to me, where I'm wondering if that could have something to do with it. Whereas Comcast owning NBC, i.e. MSNBC, super freaking liberal. Imagine if Comcast bought Sky News. You're a large conservative network that's in the UK would now all of a sudden start pushing predominantly liberal ideologies. I mean, at this point, to Rupert Murdoch, sir, you have to ask yourself, do you want a political ideology to control your narrative? With the Disney buyout, all they're getting is 21st Century Fox and all of that shit. You maintain Fox News. And the deal with Comcast ultimately would lead to Sky News being part of that deal. And an all-cash bid, but you still get to keep Fox. But you'd lose a bit of your international audience. You'd lose a bit of sway there. I'm just putting it out there, man. If you want to maintain your far-right rhetoric, you want to go with the House of Mouse, the straight-up, liberal, but capitalist people who understand that the bottom line is the dollar. Comcast simply wants to compete with AT&T, and ultimately they would give Sky News to MSNBC because that's how that would work, and you would lose your foothold in that region. So all of your hard work pimping right-leaning ideologies over there in the UK would go up in a poof of smoke if you gave this to Comcast. That's my argument for why you shouldn't do it. But I put the question to you guys. Who do you want to see come out on this one? I don't think anyone out there likes Comcast. They're my net provider and I hate them. So I don't want them to win. I'm being fair about it. I'm being open and honest about that. But what do you guys say? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is this is 3 Book Theater. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, check back often for more content. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do that right now is through Patreon, as well as just watching more videos. And if you want to watch more videos, you can do that right now.